All right, guys, welcome back. So the Outlaws are in the news for the second day in a row as they add another driver to their roster for 2025 and the campaign that begins here in about 2 weeks, a little less than 2 weeks. As today it was announced that Zack Hampton is driving the Bill Rose number 6 full-time in 2025. He will join the growing rookie class that is the Outlaws for next season. And there is going to be a lot of people. There already is a lot of people. I was walking out the door to head to the gym, and my phone went off, and sure enough, the Outlaws just announced it. So I said, you know what, I'll go to the gym, come back, and cover this. And while I was there and, all that stuff, reading the comment sections on each post, people were not very happy about this. If you know me and you've listened to me or you see me on social media, I am a big advocate for Zack Hampton. I think he's awesome. I think he's funny. I think he has the potential to be a good sprint car driver, and we've seen flashes of brilliance from him in the past, but a lot of the time, and what everybody knows him for is for all the things that happen to him out on the racetrack that are mostly of his own doing. We think back to the unbelievable night, the unbelievable weekend at Williams Grove last year when he flipped out of the ballpark 2 nights in a row. And all of the other times where he's gotten in wrecks that really are his own fault or has gotten into, I remember one night at Jacksonville, him and Robert Ballou got together and just other things that have happened to Zack Hampton. He has been in the headlines for all of the wrong reasons, but I am still a big fan of Zack Hampton. This is obviously a a monumental step up for him next year, and we'll get into it here today on the Rodman Rundown. But I want to mention this before, that I am a fan of Zack Hampton. I think if he can put it all together, he can be a very, very good driver in the grand scheme of sprint car racing. He's just got to get it all together. He doesn't have that much experience under his belt. Really, if you look at his whole career in totality, Hampton does not have that much experience racing compared to a lot of the guys that he's going to be racing against next year on a weekend basis. So Zack Hampton, 26 years old. He is from Mooresville, Indiana. And so there's that little Indiana connection there between him and Bill Rose. Rose from Plainfield, Indiana. Hampton from Mooresville. And obviously we know that he's going to be driving that Bill Rose Racing number 6, which was piloted by a bunch of different guys last year after Bill got hurt in that wreck at Fremont Speedway. Had Kelby Watt in the car, had Max Guilford in the car, had Dylan Cisney in the car, had Robbie Price in the car, had a bunch of guys in the car. And so this time around, Rose wants to nail one guy down for the entire season. And it just so happens that Zack Hampton was selling some things off according to the World of Outlaws article. And they started talking, and Rose said, hey, if I'm buying this stuff from you, we might as well put something together. And that's exactly what happened. So for Zack Hampton and for the Outlaws next year, they have 86 races on the schedule for next season. Hampton's most that he's ever ran in his entire career is 49 in 2022. Last year, I want to say he had 33. The year before that, he had like 42. So Zack Hampton has never ran more than 50 races in his entire career in one single season. Next year, as long as everything goes to plan, he is going to be at the racetrack 86 times at the very least with just the Outlaws. And in those 86 races, there are 41 different racetracks. Zack Hampton is going to be going to 24 new racetracks next year. The West Coast swing is one that is definitely going to be throwing him for a loop. A lot of the stuff in the Midwest, the South with Talladega and Magnolia, all that stuff is going to be brand new to Zack Hampton. And in those 24 new tracks, that is 35 races. So nearly half of the schedule is going to be racetracks that Zack Hampton is seeing for the very first time in his career this year. For Hampton, he has 2 career 410 wins under his belt. In 2021, he got a local show win at the Lernerville Speedway in Western Pennsylvania. And in 2023, he did get a series win. It was the Fast on Dirt series at the Circle City Raceway in Indiana. So, you look over his career, he's been running 410 since 2019. He's got 2 wins under his belt in that time. Last year, he did run for the Knoxville Raceway Points Championship in his own car. He made 11 features out of a total of 15 combined that you could have made, so he missed a couple of main events along the way. He did get 5 top 10 finishes. He also finished 11th in the point standings. I want to say it was the year before I was watching a Knoxville weekly show, and Hampton had started on the pole of the feature, and he was leading like the first 8 or 9 laps of the main event. He got passed late by Aaron Reitzel and ended up finishing, I want to say, 5th or 6th in that main event. But Hampton has gotten some experience at Knoxville over the last couple of years, and hopefully he can use that to help him out going into his rookie season with the Outlaws, especially when they go down to Volusia. So at least Hampton has that experience on the bigger racetracks, but I got a feeling Volusia is going to be the struggle bus for this team. If they can make it past that and get to some smaller racetracks, then Hampton hopefully can find his footing in this car. Now, looking at his overall career against the Big Two Series, against the Outlaws and against High Limit Racing, he has attempted 55 races between the two. He's only made the show 15 times out of 55. I do not know what that percentage is, but I know it is not very good. He has 0 top 10 finishes in all of those attempts. Now, there has been times where Hampton is running inside the top 10. He starts inside the top 10, but something happens almost every single time. Whether he wrecks, he gets passed late, has something go wrong with the race car, whatever it is. Hampton is a guy that does have some pretty bad luck, but there are times where he brings that luck upon himself and puts himself in bad positions. Like I said, I'm not hating on Zack Hampton. I like him. He knows that I like him. I want to see him succeed and prove all of the haters wrong this year. I'm not saying he's going to go out and get a win, but just to have some respectable runs, have a couple of top 10s. Don't crash, every other race, right? Don't crash other people. Just keep your nose clean, make the shows, run top 15 every now and again, and have a good year. If Hampton can make it through the 2025 season and run all 86 races, I truly believe that he will improve immensely during that time and become a better race car driver overall. If they make it through 2025, what's the plan after that? I don't think anybody knows. But if Hampton can do well and turn some heads and keep the equipment in one piece, for the most part, I think it could really help out his future for next season. We do know that Bill Rose will be the crew chief on the car, like we all anticipated. But it was mentioned as well that Bill does plan to race later on in the year once he is cleared by doctors. This is the 50th year of competition for Bill Rose. And we'll see how it goes. We'll see if Rose gets back in the car. And if he does, is it a team car to Hampton? Is it going to be 2 cars on the Outlaw Tour? Will Bill Rose run the Silver Crown Series like we've seen with USAC? Will he run other stuff, or will he be running 2 cars with the Outlaws? That remains to be seen as of right now. But, there is a lot of Bill Rose fans out there, and I feel like there is a decent amount of Zack Hampton fans out there. And so this could be a really fun pairing to watch, which is what I've got written at the very bottom. This, in my opinion, could be the most interesting pairing out of all of the Rookie of the Year contenders that we have right now, just because of the uncertainty that is involved with it. Bill Rose's car, I feel like a couple of times last year, especially when Kelby Watt was in the car, Bill Rose and that car and Kelby Watt driving were actually really fast. They had some moments where Kelby was running right around the top 10, had a couple of decent runs, qualified well. Bill Rose, unlike what everybody wants to tell you, he does have good equipment. He has very good stuff. Bill Rose, he's an older guy. He's not very aggressive. And so when you see him driving around the racetrack, you don't think that there's that much speed in the car, right? But that, when you put a young guy in it that's going to stand on the gas, Bill Rose has very good equipment, and we know that Zack Hampton will stand on the throttle. I did want to double back to a tweet that I saw earlier on today after this news came out I think it was from Billy Rowley, and he said that he would rather get a guy like a Zack Hampton getting into a sprint car like this that is not afraid to gas it up, not afraid to stick his nose in places where maybe it doesn't belong, and a guy that's not afraid to get up on the wheel, than having to get a timid driver and try to teach him how to get up on the wheel and be aggressive and go fast, right? I think I agree with the same way. I would rather have a guy that is, already, pedal to the metal, hammering the gas, not scared to go out there, than having to try and teach a guy to get up to that level. I don't know what you guys think about that. Maybe you could let me know in the comment section below. Would you rather have a timid driver get behind the wheel and trying to teach him to get up to speed, or have a guy that's up to speed and teach him how to back it down a little bit and pace himself throughout a race night? I think I would rather have that, to be completely honest with you. because we do know that Hampton, like I said, he's not scared. So he is now the 5th different rookie. We've got Macedo, Cole Macedo, that is, Chris Wyndham, Skylar G, Garrett Williamson, and now Zack Hampton. And it does sound like there is at least one more guy that is coming, and we'll wait to see when that announcement comes because there's not much time until the Outlaw season gets going. So let me know your thoughts on this. I'm sure the comment section is going to be a circus down there, but I cannot wait to read all of it. Let me know what you think about this move. Also, hit subscribe, hit the like button, and we'll talk to you guys again here tomorrow on the Rodman Rundown. Thank you all so much for watching. Talk to you again soon.